Hey everyone, this is Judy with JLBCrafts. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for giving me a try. In this video I'm going to be setting up and hand lettering the week of July 18th through the 24th. We are on capital letter D week. D as in delicious desserts. That's what, so I'm not really going so much with themes in this planner. Sometimes I have, sometimes I haven't over the last year and a half. But a theme has emerged where I did do a theme for B week. There was one of the challenges had Berrylicious as an option, and that kind of started the ball rolling. So several of the themes for C week had to do with travel, and I love going to foreign countries and just soaking up the culture and the food and the differences. I just find it fascinating. So that continued the ball rolling. So we're just going to keep going with it. So D this week is for delicious desserts. So one of the themes was actually backyard barbecue, and that's what got me thinking about delicious, but desserts. So I have pulled the sticker book from the Planners Anonymous Sweet Art kit, as well as the washies. And I'm probably only going to pull bullet points out of the sticker book, and we're going to go ahead and just try to use all three washies. So this Macron washi, oh my gosh, I love Macrons. I've had them in Japan, I've had them in Zurich, I've had them in just all over. I love Macrons. They melt in your mouth, and I've yet to try to develop a keto version of a Macron, but it is definitely on my to-do list. So let's get started. I am just going to go ahead and put 2 strips of this washi. Since it's narrow enough to fit on either side, I'm going to go ahead and run this down both sides in the middle of the vertical. I'm just going to start and speed this up. Not pulling my washi tape super tight because it does stretch. And those of you that are regulars have heard me say this many times. It does stretch, and that's what causes your page to curl. So pull it tight enough to get it straight, but don't pull it super tight, because when you unstick it from your desk, it will contract back up, and that's what causes your page to curl. I do, if you're interested, I have a code, a link in all of my description boxes, almost all my description boxes, definitely in this video, for discount on your first month's subscription to Planners Anonymous. And then I do get some loyalty points as well. And oh my gosh, you guys. So a couple years ago, the Forest Falls kit was the kit that caused me, and I'm just realizing I did the same thing last week. I'm doing the same thing this week. The Forest Falls kit, fall kit from Planners Anonymous a couple years ago, was the kit that I so absolutely adored that that's what caused me to subscribe. And the August kit is this year's fall kit, and it is gorgeous. It's got all those beautiful golds and oranges and browns and greens. It is absolutely gorgeous. So when you subscribe, you need to subscribe for 2 months, and then you can skip. You can stay subscribed but skip if there are kits that you just don't care for, that aren't your cup of tea, and still stay subscribed. The other thing that's going on right now is they are having a pre-order on some extra fall goodies. So some extra washi tape sets, as well as their Halloween. So first ever, Sammy's been wanting to do a Halloween kit forever, basically since they started the company. And this is the year. And I have already put in my pre-order. You can pre-order through, let's see, this video is posting on Sunday. You can pre-order through, I believe, Tuesday. And then they will be ordering more than just what everybody pre-orders. They'll order stock, but it'll tell them, how crazy to go with their ordering based on that. But if you pre-order, you do get a discount. So I highly recommend, if you love Halloween as much as you love fall, check that out. That discount, you don't need to sign up for a subscription for the Halloween kit. It is, when they do holiday kits, they are outside of the subscription package realm. They are completely separate. So Christmas is always separate, and now this Halloween is the first additional holiday they've done. So you don't need to subscribe for that. But if you do want to subscribe, now's a great time, because because the August kit is fall. So I think it's Fall Y'all or something like that is what they titled it. So, and I think I was gonna put this heart washi down the side, but then the hearts will be turned sideways. So I think what I'll do, instead of pulling bullet points from the pages of the sticker book, I think I'll just put these hearts on there individually as my bullet points to write my assignments, and then I can pull a different, maybe a Simply Gilded that coordinates for the side. So here's the Simply Gilded washi tape I pulled. I pulled it because it's got pink and brown, and most importantly gold foil, because I have gold foil on here, and I think the brown matches these brown macarons. So I'm going to put this along the outer edge, and then I'll go ahead and punch as well. And Simply Gilded, I have a link in the description boxes for Simply Gilded, and that is for if you sign up for her no spam newsletter, you will get $5 off a purchase of $15 or more, and I will get that same coupon as well. Perfect. All right, so let's write in our assignments. So Monday we're going to practice capital D. And then we're going to put it at, well, it's going to be at the beginning of the word in all of these. So dill, debt, dock. So as I've done in past weeks, I try to put an ascender next to the capital D every time. This is not an English word, but it will help us practice having an ascender right next to the capital letter. Dojo. And I know these are kind of odd words, but as I've said in the past, trying to cycle us through as many of the lowercase letters as possible to keep them fresh. And then December. So these words are going to be the same as a year ago if you want additional video. Other than I went through and made sure and included every month on its appropriate week. So that is it. There is my D is for delicious desserts deco. I am going to pick some pens, maybe a light brown, some kind of rusty burgundy color, and a couple of pinks, and we'll get going on practice. Alright, here are my pens from firmest to softest. I have the brown Fudenosuke. Tombow is the brand, Fudenosuke is the style of pen, the product. Then I have the Calligraph from Archer and Olive. This is the only pen I've found so far that is dual brush tip, true brush tip. A big brush tip on one end, like the Tombow dual ended, and then a fine brush tip, which is very much in line with the pens we've been using. So I love these. This is called Dusty Rose, this color. Next I have the lighter of the two browns in the Pentel brush sign pen. So Pentel is the brand and the brush sign pen is the product line. And then finally I have the Le Pen Flex with my pencil grip on it because it's too skinny without it for my, I guess because of my fingernails, I don't know. Anyway, this one is Le Pen is the brand, and the Flex is the product line or the style of pen. I like to do firmest to softest because I'm a heavy-handed person, but I encourage you to do the opposite. I am still warming up on the word face, still trying to get my F to open up, especially when I do it at the beginning of a word. So here we go, starting with the Tombow Fudenosuke. Definitely need to warm up. I am getting a little bit better at opening up my F, though. Next is the not the Le Pen. The small end of the Calligraph is next. Next I have the Pentel Touch brush sign pen. And finally the Le Pen Flex. I definitely like my F better opened up. The thing that's I'm trying to get used to, because it's not the way I originally practiced it, is starting and coming around not on the baseline. Like that one is the way I practiced it, and I fall back into that sometimes. This is the new way. So, all right. Anyway, we're not on lowercase f week, we're on capital D week. So let's do a deep dive into D. So as usual, they've got the curliness and a little bit of a slant. And if this is, so again, I say this every week, but it's absolutely true. Think of this as you're developing your own personal font. And you wouldn't expect to find a D like this next to or on the same page with a B that's straight up and down and more slashy and straightforward and less scrolly. So a lot of my learnings from the B a couple weeks ago carry directly over to the D. So, but if you're doing a scrolly one, here you go. So they're starting up here, and as all capital letters tend to be, it's big and exaggerated and flourishy and scrolly, and it should stand out because it's a capital letter, right? So they're doing a light, they're just keeping it light. The whole flourish is light. Actually, they're starting here, I bet. They're starting up here, and they're going heavy down, a little curly Q, and then coming around, and all this is flourish here. So it's all light and scrolly and flourishy. So here's your heavy. This looks a little bit heavy to me, even though you're going up. So I don't know if that's something you want to train yourself to do, because it's counter to what we've been working on for the last 6 months. But do what you do. You do you. The other thing I don't care for on this is they're keeping this pretty even, right? It's basically a half circle. I am going to go with like I did more with my B, where I like it to have a very faint, subtle, almost subliminal triangular shape to it. So let's go ahead and look at the rest of my reference samples for letters. So here's the free printable sheet for the Tombow Fudenosuke, which is one of my favorite pens. I use it almost every single week, but I don't go for their font. So again, so this one's not scrolly, it's not diagonal, it's not angled, and it's very stretched out and wide open. It almost, to my dyslexic eye, looks like a backwards N. But if this fits with the style that you're developing, go for it. So they're again starting in the same spot, up at the top line, heavy down, light up and around, and that's all there is to it. So definitely these two B, the B and the D, go together in this font, but they wouldn't go together across the two pieces of reference material. Next, I have the Rainbow Calligraph book that you can buy online or sometimes find at Dollar Tree. So no angle again. They're doing a little bit, so here was more of the entrance I used for my B. It's the same way I crossed my A. I did something like that for my C. I'm going to do something like that for my D as well. They're not doing it quite so much here, but I love this book because it shows you exactly where they're starting. So you're starting at the dot and you're going in the direction of the arrow, right? So they're doing a little bit of a light up, heavy down, and then you can lift your pen or not lift your pen. You can lift your pen and start here and come light up, heavy down, and then in this case, this is the first one we've seen where they come around and end with this little connector, which I think if you're doing a very scrolly thing up here, it would be too much to do both. But if you're not doing super scrolly up here, then coming back around, it makes more sense. So I'll tell you now, last year I did not come around on my B's and my D's. When I did my B a couple weeks ago, I discovered I did like to come around and do a connector. So I'm anticipating the same for the D. Because again, keeping my font consistent across letters. This is the boxed kit also from Crayola, but I got this one at Walmart. So here is the D here. It's kind of halfway in between almost. So they're doing just a heavy down, just a stroke. And then they're coming around and they're sort of halfway doing, this is more of a flourish than a connector, but I notice how far to the left they're coming around to grab this heavy down. They're really circling out around it. So you could almost do, bring your flourish all the way over to be a connector. That's another option. Last but not least, I have the Crayola, the Calligraphy Made Easy, not Crayola, also from Walmart, also available online. So here is the D, the first D that they have. So again, this is the entrance stroke I'm going to go with. It matches the entrance stroke on my B. So starting around midline, light up, and then I'll do my heavy down. And then here they're doing more of a triangular. So you see how it's a little bit thinner and pointier almost at the top and a little bit fatter here at the bottom. And then they are coming around to create a connection point. I like that. I'm going to go, I think I'm going to keep it this skinny at the top and go even a little bit fatter at the bottom. I like the way the B and the D go together on this particular font example. And then for alternates, there is an alternate D. So they're starting with this entrance stroke, but they're coming across and doing a loop at the top. So it almost looks like the C a little bit, but a little bit less pronounced. And then they're not doing the loop down here. So again, I think one loop, for me at least, tends to be enough. So there we go. That is all of our examples. There are many, many more. You can find more online, I'm absolutely sure. So, but let's go ahead and try it. And don't be afraid to change. Here I am a year and a half, more than a year and a half into this journey that I'm on to develop my hand lettering, and I'm going to change up the bottom of my D and come around with a connector. I did not do that last year. You'll see at the very end of the video when I compare to last year. So, all right. So we're starting around midline. We'll do our entrance, light up, and then my heavy down. And then pick your pen up or don't, it doesn't really matter. The thing to decide here is, where do you start to separate from this vertical portion of the D? Do you stay attached clear up here? Do you start to break away midline? Do you break away clear down here? I think I'm going to try breaking away about midline. And then we're going to go skinny pointy top, fatter bottom, and I'm going to come around with a connector. So there we go. Something like that. I think I want my top to be even a little bit skinnier. I don't like too much of a separation. So let me show you an example. I don't like too much of a separation from my vertical stroke because it opened up too much. Well, that actually wasn't as open as I expected. That's too fat. I don't like opening up too much. Like I said, it starts to look like a backwards N to me. So I'm gonna just keep working on this, trying to get my top skinnier and pointier and my bottom a little bit fatter. So like I said, it has a faintly, almost subliminal triangular overall shape to it. Because I don't know why I like that. I do it with my J. And that's too open for me. Not loving it so far. Make sure you're choking way up on your pens. Capital letters, you have to cover so much ground. It really helps to choke up. That's why we learned that 6 months ago. I like the overall shape of that one. I think my coming around is too big. It's too fat. So just for the heck of it, I tried crossing over, and that's not terrible. That really starts to help reinforce the wide bottom as compared to the thin top. Oh, well, they're not pretty, but they never look right to me when they're just a standalone letter all by itself. I always feel like I need to put it into a word to get it, to really decide if I like it or not. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and put it at the beginning of a word. So, dill. Better. I feel like it needs the rest of the word to help balance it out. That's a good one. I like that one. One thing that I'm starting to notice is I'm not really coming all the way up to the top line with my D, and it's actually making the D look small compared to the two L's, and the D is the capital letter. It should be the biggest, so I think I need to work on that more. Okay, let's try det. So again, a couple of ascenders there. Have to squeeze your B in next to your T with enough room to still cross it. And you don't want the B and T, as I just discovered, to dwarf the capital D, right? So we want to make sure and make that D nice and big. Not bad. Alright, so I looked it up, and a dak is basically, it's an Indian musical instrument. It's basically a giant drum. So I don't know if I've ever heard one or not, but I was in the marching band, so I know what drums are. The challenge here, if you're doing a connector, is bringing it out far enough that you can fit the top part of the H and not have it look crowded and not have it bump up too much against the D. And I'm having the same kind of issue this week that I had last week with the C, where getting this curvy shape to look good is kind of hit or miss for me. I'm not getting very consistent yet, so. Word looks a little bit funny just because it's not a normal word and not a word that you're normally used to seeing. So it would look a little bit funny no matter what font you wrote it in, I think, at least to me. One page done. So far so good. It's getting better. It's not perfect and not super consistent, but I'm getting more comfortable with it, I guess, maybe is the way to say it. So, all right, let's try. We're gonna do a descender now. We're gonna do dojo. So we are gonna have to be careful on our second, third, and fourth rows to make sure we clear that J descender. So. So if you are a karate mom and you have to take your kid to the dojo, now you can write dojo in your planner. So I'm going to come all the way over here to fit my D in and not hit that J. One of the things you may struggle with is transitioning from heavy to light here at the bottom of the D, especially if you're going to come back around. I really have to focus on that. From one descender to two descenders, we'll go do dopey. So these are going to be getting harder to fit in. So lots of symmetry and repetitiveness on this coming back around between the D and the P there. Let's try to fit the D in over here. I just wrote right over that one. Since my current pen is darker than the pen that was already there, it was easy to do that. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna come way over here. My loop back around is getting kind of crazy, out of control big there. All right, last but certainly not least is the word we're probably most likely to write in our planner that needs a capital D, unless your name starts with D, December. So if you want to practice your D more times, just write DEC. But if you want to write out the whole word, go for it. So let's try this. December. That looks like December to me. We made it, and I would not mind having this hand lettered in my planner if I could get it to look that good. I think it looks great. So let's put the pages back in my planner and then compare to last year. So there won't be a December from last year because I wasn't with it enough to realize I should have the months, all 12 months in there on their appropriate weeks, but that's okay. The rest of the words will be the same. So there we go. Make capital D. And then last year, here we go. So we have Dojo and Dopey. So as you can see, last year I was not coming back around like I am this year. And I think I like that I'm coming back around. So I wasn't coming back around on my P either, and I was keeping my O's quite a bit more open. So I like it. I feel like I'm doing better, a little bit of progress every week. So I hope you're still with me. I hope you're enjoying learning, developing all your capital letters. Next week we have a capital E. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you.